project, I studied a transcendentalist woman named Elizabeth Orr. I analyzed 2 of her letters and 1 of her poems and pulled her main ideas from these works. I used these main ideas to conclude her opinions, personality traits, values, voice movements, and way of presenting herself in order to make a character. At the beginning of this interdisciplinary unit between English and theater, I wanted to separate the 2 subjects and put everything I learned into a neat little box. I didn't want to make abstract connections that would not fit into my little neat boxes. When we began this unit, I tried to put transcendentalism in a neat little box as well. However, I quickly learned that this is not possible. Transcendentalism is a movement of abstract ideas that can't be easily defined. Understanding that not all things will fit into a neat little box perplexed me and was quite challenging for me to accept. However, eventually, I was able to break through these constrictive boxes I placed around ideas and make deep connections I had never made before. Most importantly, breaking through these boxes allowed me to connect the different disciplines like theater and English. I combined theater and English into a 3-step process to make my final character and prepare for my final assignment. The first step was analysis. I used skills learned in our analysis papers from Dark Romanticism and our skills in breaking down and creating outlines for different transcendentalist works. First, I took a quote out of the work, then I summarized the quote, and then I took the meaning from this quote, or what the quote really meant. Our past unit on creating outlines was very beneficial to me during this step. My next step was to take all the main ideas and put them together, and together view them and analyze them to see what they told me about her beliefs and opinions. Our past units on analysis and our analysis papers in the Crucible helped me acquire skills that helped me during this step. My third and final step was to take these beliefs and turn them into movements and tone of voice and a physical depiction of my character. I used what I learned in theater about the connection between what different tones of voice meant, what different movements meant, to conclude what my character would act and move like. For example, I learned that leading with the forehead conveys shyness, and I used this in my representation of my character. To better explain this process, I'm going to use an example. I will start with the quote, "I am slow to write you because in an atmosphere of trifling occupations clouded by the fogs of physical debility, I do not readily come to an expression of my innermost self." Using skills I learned in English, I will then summarize this quote to say, "I cannot respond to your deeply inspired letters quickly because I am not able to speak on such deep level like you are." The meaning I can take out of this is that she doesn't feel as smart as the person she is writing to, and she doesn't feel confident in her abilities. By taking this main idea that I found and comparing it with others, I can conclude that she does not believe her ideas are valuable as others, and she is unconfident and self-doubting. Using these concluded beliefs and personality traits along with what I learned in theater, I can conclude that she leads with her forehead, which shows she is reserved, shares others' ideas before her own, and speaks softly and politely. With many of the quotes, I also added another step of relating her ideas to ideas of other transcendentalists like Emerson and Thoreau, just to fully understand the idea better and to show that she often uses the inspiration of others to form her own ideas because she's not confident in her own ideas alone.
This project can be quite difficult to understand. There are a lot of people included in this project, a lot of different teachers, a lot of different deadlines, a lot of different parts. And while this can be quite difficult with scheduling, and while everyone has a unique project, it's difficult, yes, but I believe it's worth it. This may be a limitation, but I don't think it should stop anyone from doing this project. This project truly helps make connections that a lot of people wouldn't be able to make otherwise. It really helped me understand the meaning of breaking out of a box and taking what you know and turning it into something else, concluding from taking what you have and making conclusions from it, making conclusions that are justified by specific things, and applying it to bring someone back to life. It's amazing. Breaking out of a box that a lot of society wants to put you in, a lot of the school systems this day just throw knowledge at you and expect you to memorize it, but this won't help you in the long run. And Elizabeth Orr, the character that I studied, actually said something very similar. She said that what we learned in schools is now a contrived idea, that we need to go back to the expression that is natural. We need to make our own conclusions. We can't just memorize the different things that are thrown at us. And that's one of the main things that I learned from her. I can't just memorize things and expect to go far. I need